Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy big children and little. I am the novelist, author, poet Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Bleu. Welcome to the Just My Thoughts podcast. I'm kind of excited about this particular one because this is called Riding Coattails, a Testimony. As you well know, this is the Just My Thoughts podcast where I just give just my random thoughts in a live version. It's kind of a podcast and really a testimony. I'm excited about this one, ultimately because this writing, I soft write in my head. I say, okay, this is what I want to talk about. This is how I want to talk about, so on and so forth, whatever. I am no Jay-Z that can just write in his head, but I write in my head. You know what I mean? I come to, it's just what it is. And today, writing this in my head, the reason why I'm so excited is because it really helped me focus. It really helped me focus or refocus. I come to you always kind of blogging or podcasting, dealing with what I'm actually dealing with in life, or when I had an epiphany in life or whatever. So basically, the premise is this. I never wanted to be the type of blogger, poet, MC, podcaster that tried to just basically be like the second coming of Tony Robbins. And just like, I'm telling you how to live your life. I wanted to stay away from that because everything ain't for everybody. Now, Tony Robbins has some great advice, and I rock with Tony Robbins heavy. You follow what I'm saying? The man is a pure motivator. However, that's not a path that I choose. With my belief system, I just say, hey, all I could really honestly do to the people, or the only way I could actually be of service to the people is to tell my truth in the form of stories. I'm kind of good at telling stories. Tell my truth inside of a story. Provide my testimony. Tell you what I learned from what I experienced, or at least what I took from it. Give it to you, and if it could somehow give you another set of eyes for anything that you may be dealing with, it gives you some game, or maybe with me talking ish, you figure out, okay, I won't be doing what that guy did. Then it's all for the good. So not to be all day with it, riding coattails, a testimony. We're basically gonna go over three parts. We're going to talk about riding on your coattails because of your talent. That's one. We're going to talk about riding on your coattails because of your status or position. That's two. And we're going to talk about the third thing. I love threes. Third dimension. You rock with me. Father, Spirit, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, that type of thing. And the third thing is riding on your coattails for your wisdom. And the sidebar, we're going to wrap this up by something that I just called taking inventory. This will all make sense in a minute. Okay, riding on your coattails because of your talent. Okay, sidebar, there are some of us out there that are just obsessive creatives. And often when you find, there are not many true creatives, there are people who are creative but there are not many who are obsessive about creating. I'm pretty obsessive when it comes to creating. If I'm not creating something or working on something, or at least conceptualizing something, every 48 hours, I start developing a twitch, right? Um, Now, because obsessive creatives are obsessive about it, and not everybody is, um, those people who are obsessively creative often find people who seek to exploit their obsessive nature when it comes to creativity. I've given you these bars before. This is from the Moment of Clarity album. Those who don't possess talent, skill, drive, and a gift to create often try to take control of who bakes the pies and the cakes, all inside of your plate with the fork taking bites of your steak. But wait, get your hand out of my pocket. Those without skill will try to rob the ones who've got it. The haters and perpetrators, manipulators and fakers, invaders and raiders, easy opportunity takers will try to take you to the cleaners. Dreamers, schemers, non-believers will try to come in between you and your paper. Look at their demeanor. They can't wait and try to ream you. Simply tell them, I don't need you. And not many truer words were ever written, at least by me. And it's really the fact, and the power to create, something from nothing, the power that nothing was there, an idea came, and now something is here, is a very godly type thing. You follow what I'm saying? And I mean, do I have to spell it out for you? I mean, people have been trying to exploit that energy in all of its forms, regardless. It's part of the game. I don't hate because of the game. However, I want creative people, whether you're obsessive or maybe just creative and not just obsessive, to be very careful with your gift, because people will seek to exploit that gift. I don't think they're. Well, man, some of them are bad people. I was going to say I don't think they're bad people, but some of them are bad people. You know what I mean? But it just is what it is, and it just kind of comes with it. In Tales of My Youth, and we'll move along here, but I have to testify by telling a story about how this kind of particular thing happened. Man, the game is crazy, and I have a bunch of examples. But a notable example was, damn, do I throw this cat under the bus? I'm at a crossroads here. Let's just leave. Let's just leave. Let's just leave this person nameless. Was doing a creative project with someone, and we're gonna do this collaboration. And I have a following. I have a nice small independent following. Nothing crazy, and not but a following nonetheless. So you know and inside that following, be it because I've just been doing it for so long, or maybe it's because I've been doing it for so long in so many different places. I have been blessed with the small following that I have, right? So I do this project with somebody with almost no following. You know what I mean? And it's not that they did not have a skill, right? So they brought meat to the storehouse in terms of skill when we did this collaboration project. But at the end of the day, I was being manipulated, you know what I mean, for what my talent had gained. You follow what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, and on a talent level, it's not that this person wasn't kind of talented, but I carried this particular project lyrically, you know what I mean? So, you know, just giving the project depth and insight and so on and so forth, whatever, whatever, whatever. And I realized through certain actions that that's what it was. And my mind, your mind, most people's mind does not necessarily look for the angle or how to manipulate or use people. You know what I mean? I think we all have a light and a dark side. And I think we're always faced every day with I can do the right thing or I could really fuck this person over. I believe all of us are at one of those crossroads every day where we could either do something very good for somebody or we could really cross them big time. You follow what I'm saying? And, you know, and I don't think that I don't think this particular person was maliciously trying to do those things. But when in hindsight, when I look at how it all went down, it was obviously that people were kind of leaning on my ability to do certain things, be it put a show together, put a song together, put an album together, or whatever. And they did not necessarily have that. And of course, it revealed itself to me when this person, who shall remain nameless, immediately jumped out the window and tried to go full steam on something that I was doing, because it was just like the copycat murder. It's like, okay, I watched you do it, so now watch me do it. And they failed miserably at doing that. You just can't freaking spar in the, you know, get in the ring one day with a practice session and now you're a prize fighter now. You know, a lot of people are really funny. They will resent maybe your gifts or maybe where you're at, but they'll resent your destination without any plan or any desire to travel the road you traveled to get to that destination. Okay, you want to be where I'm at, or you want to be where she's at, or you want to be where this cat over here is at. Okay, the road to there is this road right here. Everybody's like, fuck, I'm not driving that road. I'm not driving. Why can't you just teleport me there? This new way of thinking is really crazy. I'm not even trying to diss kids, because it's people my age and older than me. It's the thinking, this I don't want to pay any dues whatsoever. I just want to skip the line and be right at balling, boss, or whatever that shit is. That shit is crazy to me. So moving ahead. That's an example of just talent, how people could ride on the coattails of your God-given abilities, and they don't necessarily have those abilities, so they kind of stand next to you while you're doing those abilities, and then only to turn around in front like, yeah, we, you know, team Hami, team, you know, we lit over here. No, one person is lit and you're standing next to their light. Second example, riding on your coattails because of your status and or position. This goes into a testimony, and I was talking about the rhythm and poetry the other night, and just kind of the things I've learned, and specifically in Sacramento, when Rhythm and Poetry was open in Sacramento, and what that run meant to me. And I realized I'm gonna testify a different story, that goes for both rhythm and poetry. Is the one that was in Atlanta and the one that was in Sacramento. Let's talk about it. It always bugged me out that after rhythm and poetry had finished its run, the first time and the second time, when it finished in Atlanta and when it finished in Sacramento, you figure out of running this poetry venue for a total of 5 years on two coasts, with always having a feature, a strong feature, if not two features, a showcase, with all the artists I've met, with all the contracts that were signed, with all of the appearances that were made, me performing every night, Rhythm and Poetry was open for 5 years, okay? And you figure all the people I met, all the hands I had shaken, all of that business that's going on, because we always had features, we always had guests, we always had open mics. So you do this over 5 years, and especially when we was going at the once a week pace, how many artists is that? How many artists is that I've met? So in my mind, when I go artist full time and not just host, when I have a project, release a project, create a project, whether I drop a book, an album, a podcast, or whatever, you figure I know so many people just in the game, so many people I put the spotlight on. In my mind, at least a small fraction of all the people I gave a light to, you figure that they would holler back when it was time for me to be one of the soldiers on the field, one of the warriors in the battle. And to my my naivete, to my surprise, no. Yes, I kind of understood that your friends, your family won't support you, and your friends won't support you until strangers do. I did understand that. That was a jagged pill to swallow, but it's something that I come to understand. You follow what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay. Hey, cool. It's not that your family doesn't love you, but that's not how they're used to consuming shit. You know what I'm saying? They can't even see you as this rock star. You know what I mean? Unless you just become a bona fide one. And the same cat that would not share your song on social media would would talk smack to you, talking about, oh, you can't call, oh, you too big to call, and all that. You remember, you can't forget, we still family. I'm still your cousin. I'm still your uncle. Stuff like that. So it'd be crazy. So I realized when it was time to come out with a project or even a show, the countless artists that I had reached out to, and I don't need you to buy nothing. I don't need you to, whatever, but it just seems like a common courtesy. Like, damn son, you can't hit the like button. Like, you're like, wow. So, oh man, I got all of these artists, a couple hundred artists over 5 years. I'm like, nobody is rocking with me on this project or whatever. Nobody, no, none of them. So what does this mean? That means I suck bad, or Cats was really not next to you because they rock with you. Cats was next to you because you got the camera and the camera's on. That's all it is. This is all it is. And that is a jagged pill to swallow too. You're like, man, there's so many people I've had face to face shake your hand, and you'll feel like church just let out on Sunday. All the love, all the freaking camaraderie and all that. And nobody's rocking with each other like that. Man, just like, okay. So again, the testimony, that was very sobering to do. I was just like, wow, I'm just like, man, you think you got history or whatever. And he was like, hey, dog, let's not forget, and it wasn't a ships passing in a night thing. You know what I mean? We was, people who have been to rhythm and poetry, regardless, y'all know how we was giving it up in there. You know what I mean? We were different. You know what I mean? It really wasn't about what some of these open mics are about. You know what I mean? We gave it up. We gave it up differently. And realizing that all of those people were standing there because they were riding on the coattails, not necessarily rocking with me like that, riding on the coattails because of the status or the position. I'm the curator of the venue. We all doing like this in the Instagram photos. Peace to Graffiti Bleu, my main man on the trigger and all that. Okay, cool. Project drops, crickets. Okay. And it's just something you got to deal with. Not even mad no more, but at the time, before I figured it out, pretty fucking pissy. Anyway, and the last one we're going to talk about is riding on your coattails for your wisdom. This is actually one of the first ones I realized is how people could kind of ride on your coattails. We talked about riding on your coattails because of your talent. We talked about riding on your coattails because of your status and or position. Now we're going to talk about riding on your coattails for your wisdom. All right. Putting out my own book and releasing that independent and it actually doing well. Poet's Pursuit of Pleasure and Emotional Affair. It came out of the gate. There was many reasons for that. The planets kind of lined up just right for me. I had a release party at the W Hotel, which W Hotel is a big deal in Atlanta as this new up and comer. And everybody was like, who the hell is Graffiti Bleu and why? And how in the hell did he get the W Hotel the same night Ludacris is performing there? The owner read my book and she liked it. Or just lucky, I guess. And also another planet that lined up with it was that it was actually written well. And my first book was an erotic novel. I'm talking about sex. So you got a freaking, a book so hot you can't touch it with oven mitts. You know what I mean? With a new guy that everybody is freaking nosy about. Who the fuck is the new guy? You know what I mean? The controversial new guy who has a New York freaking swagger about him at the W Hotel with a star in the building for a cosign. So, the first An Emotional Affair actually moved some freaking units. It was freaking crazy. And in the aftermath of that, it was just like, well, a lot of aspiring authors or whatever was hitting up the then first generation or the first manifestation of gblue.com. You know what I mean? gblue.com was open already for business and the website was getting traffic, even though at the time I only had one book to my catalog. So, so what I realized was that people kept hitting the website email like, oh, everybody wanted to do lunch and talk and whatever. And at first it seemed pretty cool. And, you go to this lunch and then you're just like, what's good? And you want to talk about business leverage. You want to elevate your position. You're having a business meeting to talk business to elevate your position. Right? Wrong. That's not what you're there for that. They are not there for that. Those who haven't written books or those who've written books already and the book might not have necessarily moved, you're getting invited for coffee, tea, and dinner and lunches so that people can pick your brain. People just like, how did you do it? How did you come out of the gate? I saw somebody reading your freaking book on the New York subway. How in the hell? You live in Atlanta. How in the hell did you move that many books? And I'm sitting there just like, interesting. I am self-taught. I just drank a whole bunch of books that had to do with independent, in self-publishing and independent authors. You know, the pitfalls, what to expect, all of that stuff. I educated myself. I drank all of those freaking books. I read all of the literature. You know what I mean? I put myself through a freaking internet freaking school, watching every freaking video on YouTube I could about the role of a website and how to use your website as the main hub, and social media are only these sub hubs, and social media is supposed to bring everybody back to your website. Don't use your website like, don't use social media like your website, because that's not your freaking website. Use social media to bring people to your website and your products and all of that freaking stuff. I read the literature, countless hours. It's like it was getting a freaking associate degree. It took a while to absorb all this information and set up shop. So I set it up. So now you have this cup of coffee meeting, dinner meeting, Zoom meeting, luncheon, and all they're trying to do is trying to figure out how to not do the work. Just tell me how to be where you're at. I don't want to take the road you took. I want to be at the same destination you're at, but I have no intention on driving, walking, riding a bike, or hitchhiking the freaking journey you did. It's freaking crazy. So I explained this problem I was having. I was candid with my web designer, young lady by the name of Phaedra Dion, the best sister girl, best internet designer, web designer on the freaking web. Look it up. Anyway, I said, Faye, all these cats want to, the book is doing pretty good. All these cats want all of this information. What do I do? She was just like, don't be giving away your wisdom for free, dog. She's just like, I'm gonna put in a consult fee. They want a consult, you can consult. We'll say, okay. She said, name your price. I'm just like, okay. $100 an hour. Or you can either buy a couple of books from the website and I'll talk to you. Or it's $100 an hour. So now on your nickel. So if you invite me out for coffee, I'll go have coffee. We talk for an hour, it's $100. But I'm giving you game. You want to skip the line? I put in years of this work. So you want to just skip the line or whatever? That's cool. You could get the cheat code. I could give you the cheat code if you want to, but it's going to cost $100 an hour. My prices went up since then, but it'll cost you $100. In 2009, it was $100 an hour, and I think that's fair. You're going to spend what's the shit? We get a meal. If I say now, and I was even fair. I'm just like, if it's a dinner meeting or whatever, just like that, or luncheon, and you paying for lunch, I'm good. You pay for me to take a cab. Well, then it was cab, but it was right before Uber dropped. You want to pay for my cab, and you want to pay for lunch and all of that stuff. I'll talk to you for that. I'll talk to you for that. I'm not gonna talk to you for 4 hours. After the lunch is digested, we kicked it for an hour. If you want to continue, whatever. Anyway, no one wanted to pay that. Hit me up on the email. send them an invoice. Hey, can I talk to you? Can we do lunch? Whatever. I immediately sent them a web page just designed, just laying it all out. Hey, you want to have a freaking cup of coffee? This is what, and you want to talk books, you want to talk independent author, all that. This is what it costs. Phone stopped ringing, email stopped ringing. There was oh, he's charging. So what does that mean? How did the Joker say, don't do anything? Don't do anything that you're good at. If you're good at it, why do it for free? You know what I mean? And I'm not really, it's really not about the money. It's just respect. You follow what I'm saying? These guys and gals are acting like it's all good, you know, and they let me pick your brain as long as you're giving them that wisdom. I'm just buddying up. I'm gonna rob your freaking wisdom and go here. I really, really don't freaking care. I love to share. I'm sharing now. You know what I mean? But it's not necessarily about that. It's about respect. And we don't want to wear ourselves down constantly getting manipulated, because if you keep that energy around you, if you surround yourself with people that are just taking from you and not bringing meat to the freaking storehouse, which is you, which is your soul, your spirit, that all your essence of you, people just keep taking and not feeding you and not building you up. You are the gift. You can't surround yourself with succubuses. You follow what I'm saying? So, which comes to my last point, which is inventory. Inventory. Basically, if in this welcome to the Just My Thoughts podcast, we're talking about riding on coattails, okay? A testimony of a naive poet named Graffiti Bleu. We talked about riding on your coattails because of your talent. We talked about riding on your coattails because of your status and or position. We talked about riding on your coattails for your wisdom. And the last part, as promised at the top, we're going to talk about taking inventory. Taking inventory is important in all things. And taking inventory is basically just chilling the fuck out for a minute, sitting in silence and asking yourself where you're at a particular part and who is around you and exactly why are they around you? Where is the exchange fair? You follow what I'm saying? Why are they around you and is the exchange fair? When it comes to the realm of creativity, some of us want to be successful and famous and all of that good stuff. And a lot of those same people cannot give you in 25 words or less what it is they actually do. What do they bring to the table? What do they do? The same way you can ask a potential romantic partner, what do you bring to the table? And they don't tell you, they just say, I am the table. The same way you can ask a fellow creative, you're just like, in 25 words or less, can you tell me what it is you actually do? And many cannot freaking tell you that. Even the ones that swear to God, they are going to be enjoying the fruits of a very successful creative career, whatever that career is. Now, this is a problem because if you can't identify exactly what it is you do you do it well? And can you sell what you do if you can't even fucking describe it? Right? You know what I mean? You meet freaking a big influencer, a person, a woman or man that can really do a lot of good for you. Let's take a 55-year-old Quincy Jones. You know what I'm saying? You know, not old yet, not old yet, but seasoned. You know what I'm saying? Just tons of accolades of Quincy Jones. It's just like, man, you're really groovy, dude. You're really groovy, brother. You know what I mean? I'm looking for some cats to work with or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm looking for somebody to invest in, something that's hip, that's cool, yada, 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 yada. In 25 words or less, tell me what you do, or better yet, sell me the idea of why I should invest in what you do. 25 words or less. Most cats can't freaking do it. Most cats can't do it. Well, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I got a whole slogan out of the gate. I'll let you know exactly what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and not so sexy, big children and little. I am the novelist, author, poet, Lamont Anthony Wright, aka Graffiti Bleu. Out of the gate, I think that's 25 words or less. But I'm letting you know exactly what it is. Now, if you want to dig further, if you want to peel back the layers of that, we can. If you want to go deeper than that, we can. The beginning part of that whole speech is letting you know that I'm sort of the ringmaster. I'm the host with the most, you know what I mean? I get that from the circus shit. You follow what I'm saying? I remember going to the circus as a kid, you know, and the freaking, you know, the guy who does the center ring of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. I couldn't have been but 6 years old. The circus blew my mind. This dude had this top hat on and everybody was on him. And even though he wasn't the man on stilts that was super tall, he wasn't the 25 clowns inside the small Volkswagen. He wasn't the lion tamer, but he seemed like he was running the show. He was just a normal dude with a top hat and a big voice. And he takes off his top hat. And what does he say? What does he say? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. And I'm just like, what? Everybody, I'm just like, he's the ringmaster. So that's what that's sidebar. That's kind of why my opening speech always sounds like that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in my mind, I'm painting the picture that I'm the ringmaster, I'm the head orchestrator, and that's my title for gblue.com. I am the creative director of everything on this channel and my website, gblue.com. So, inventory is very important with all of those people that are riding on your coattails because of your talent. If you have other so-called talented people around you, and you suspect that there is not a fair exchange system going on, there's not a good barter system, you're bringing this to the table, this big old meal, and they're bringing snacks, they're bringing processed meats and all that. Just take inventory, just sit down and have a little silent prayer and say, what do they do? And if you're unsure, ask them. And I think it'll be very telling in how they reply. What if they get offended? They probably shouldn't be around you. We're just taking inventory. How does that apply when you are talking about people riding on your coattails because of your status and or position? See what their status is. I've been freaking fooled. People be telling me they lit and they not lit at all. People like, we litty, you know what I mean? Okay. And they're not, you know what I mean? And typically people screaming they're lit aren't lit. You know what I mean? Sidebar, I liked how Brooke Alford, artist of the violin, she has so much style and class. You know what I'm saying? Like she be silently flexing without flexing. You follow what I'm saying? She doesn't have to tell you she's an artist with a huge following because she just carries herself that way. It's just, and in that humility, like I'm here, I'm gonna always be professional, I'm always be on time, I'm gonna do what I say what I do. That is a flex. right? I never have to worry about Brooke Alford, artist of the violin. If we collaborate, when we collaborate, I've never had to ever worry about her doing exactly what she said she came to do. And even more than that, she's not only tapped in, that she stays connected on an artist level, deep, dog, like deep. There is a respect. Yes. Are we besties? No. We definitely client, artist, client relationship there going on. That's cool. We don't need to be best friends, because when it's go time, whenever it's time for a project or what have you, and we link, that she's always dialed in 1,000%. But I can't say that for every collaboration I've ever done. It's another swipe at anybody. Now, man, it's really neither here nor there. I'm just sharing with the people. Also, the last one, let me see, what was the last one? I mean, I know the last one was inventory, but what was the last point I was trying to write? Oh, riding on your coattails because of your wisdom. All right. Taking inventory. How do you take inventory on someone else's wisdom if they're mining you for information? I think we kind of inherently know, like, when people are hanging around us solely to get information from us. And not every exchange between teacher and student means that the student is being malicious or diabolical or looking to undermine the teacher. That's not it. Sometimes it's just, man, this person is just a good person. And if they're receptive to your wisdom, why not give it to them? You give that to somebody for free who honors your wisdom and deserves your wisdom. Well, now that I hear myself talking out loud, I guess the best way to take inventory to make sure the exchange is fair is asking yourself, the person you might be mentoring, what did they teach you? Even if you are learning through teaching, which happens a lot. Sometimes, well, many times, me just giving somebody some game kind of helps me tap into the spirit. It helps me testify, because you testify, you tell your truth through a testimony and say, this actually happened to me, and so on and so forth. And it really just the experience of seeing how they respond to your wisdom and the takes from that, and making you revisit a concept, thought, idea, testimony, story, something that happened to you, will reinforce the life lesson you learned by sharing it again. You say, oh yeah, I remember that. And then you could feel the growth from there, because you have a different vantage point or a different reference point from which you are seeing. You know what I mean? You look back at any so-called not so good thing, or let's say you look back on any life lesson that you once learned, right? And the way you see that today, if you think back, don't look back too far, let's live in the now, but when you do occasionally look back at a past whatever life lesson you learned, let's say there was some pain there. You say, man, I'll never do that again, right? The way you look at that past today, if you even let one day go by, 1 week, 1 month, you let 1 month go by for the sake of this example, the way you see that past incident is now changed from how you see that today. Because we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, we are constantly we are not the same people we were yesterday when we woke up. To the core, we may be the same to the core, but we are evolving every freaking second. You follow what I'm saying? So taking inventory is a good thing, because it definitely is it's like a checks and balances. It's just like, okay, where am I at? To me, taking inventory helps me stay humble in the game, because sometimes, and truth be told, the only reason why all of this stuff happened, why people rode on your coattails because of this or that, was because your ego was way up here. I know that is the truth for me. My ego was up here, and I thought I'm surrounded by all of these people because it's just I'm that guy, because I'm a good person to be around. And then you freaking end up freaking hurt, feeling 1,000 hurts when the cameras are off and the people are gone. When you aren't putting out a project and the people are gone, and you don't have a venue anymore, and you're looking for them, the same people you paid to be at the venue, who said rock with you, and now you drop a project, ain't nobody's rocking with you no more. So it's good to take inventory and say, why are they here? And the reason, if you take inventory, and the reason they are there is, I don't know, mutually beneficial for you. You say, well, you know what, I know you're not really here for me because you don't rock with me like that. I know this is just business, and I'm cool with that. I had to humble down and get over myself and say, of course, if you got a freaking poetry venue and you hot right now, of course, people who would never rock with you ever, of course they're going to be there. Of course they're going to smile on your face and shake your hand so they can get on the mic. Of course they're going to be nice to you because they want to freaking get paid. Of course, all that stuff, they're going to freaking smile in your face looking to get a freaking feature or whatever. Of course. And it doesn't mean people are evil because they're looking out for their self-interests. Doesn't mean that they're evil freaking people. I'm just sharing some game. All right? Riding on your coattails, what do you think about it? Have you ever had that happen to you? Of course you have. If you want me to talk about a particular topic, or you have thoughts on this particular podcast, you're watching it, Just My Thoughts podcast with Graffiti Blue, you can leave a comment in the comment section. That helps agitate the algorithm. Please leave a like. Please hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment. All right. And and if you want to go down the rabbit hole a little further, and you want to have some sort of dialogue or whatever, or what you want to say, you don't want everybody else to see what you've said, or you just want to keep it A and B, you can write me at info@gbleu.com. That is info, info@gbleu.com, GBLEU.com, and I'll holler back at you.